So I wanted to do a quick short about this FIFA World Cup, how there's no hype out here in the United States, Canada, or Mexico. Maybe in Mexico and Canada there's hype for it, but in the United States specifically, where I'm at, specifically on the West Coast and the Bay Area, there's not a lot of hype surrounding the World Cup, and even for the Super Bowl out here, right? Like, because if the Niners would have got to the Super Bowl, right, you would have seen the Bay be a little bit more hype for the Super Bowl, but it wasn't that great. The best thing about the Super Bowl was the halftime show. But going back to the World Cup, there's concern regarding like the lack of hype and the ticket sales. And I'm like, because the ticket sales are ridiculously expensive. And the games that you're getting out here in the Bay are not that great, right? You go down to LA, then you have a chance to see, like, I think the US play, Brazil play, Portugal play, right? And it's like, why can't the Bay Area get those, like one of those high profile games out here? If you're worried about hype and you want to get the stadium filled, generally, if you have Mexico out here, if you have Argentina out here, if you have Colombia especially out here, right? Venezuela, Brazil, you're going to get that stadium filled because there's a lot of those nationals out here in the Bay, because the Bay Area is a melting pot of culture, race, and diversity. So there is a lack of hype for the World Cup, mainly because the ticket sales, and the United States sadly just does not care about soccer, football. They care about American football, not world football. And the problem is that this is a money grab at the end of the day. This is not a tournament. Would you be surprised if the U.S. got to the quarterfinals of this World Cup? No, because they want the host countries to get as far as they can. And I just don't believe that this World Cup is going to go over well. And there's a lot of tension anyway within the country with ICE, the protests, Donald Trump, everything like that, right? But I'm not going to get into that. But that's the real thing, because of all the countries that are going to be descending on this World Cup, all the tourists that are going to be descending on the World Cup, right? They're going to be out there. So there's not a lot of hype. There's a lot more concern and a lot more fear leading into this World Cup, more than hype and positivity, because given what's going on all over the country, you're not going to get a lot of hype. So let me know what you guys think. Should the U.S. actually be hyped for it, or is there a real lack of concern? Or is there a real concern, rather, for the safety and the well-being of the people coming to this country for the World Cup? Let me know in the comments.